Hi, I'm Joanna. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to review 4 books, 3 fiction, 1 nonfiction. Let's get started. My first novel is Wild People Quiet by Gereaux. If you look at this cover, you'll notice the beautiful beadwork. I love this cover. There is a tribe in Missouri. They're called the Metis people. I think they're responsible for this unique, beautiful beadwork. By the way, the author is part Metis, and in the novel, she creates the main character, Florence, as a half-breed. So the setting is in the 1940s time period, and we meet Florence, the half-breed. She's half white, half Metis. She's about 50 years old, and she works for a very reputable insurance company as a executive secretary, and she makes a comfortable living. She owns her own home, and she lives quietly but very carefully. She dyes her hair blonde every 2 weeks. She does this so that no one will suspect that she's a half-breed. I don't believe that she's particularly ashamed of her true identity as much as she believes that passing for white is just a matter of survival. Otherwise, like the Metis people, Florence would be subjected to living like a second-class citizen. That means that she wouldn't be able to own her home, much less buy land. She could not make small purchases, in the shops in town, etc. I sympathize with Florence. I mean, ostracism is a very cruel practice, and many societies, including ours, have practiced and experienced that. At 50 years old, Florence has been passing for white for quite a long time. Then one day, someone notices her, and Florence is thrown back and has to face her past once again. Then Florence gets some insight for plans that are in the works to displace the Metis people once again from their community and from their land. And she has to make a choice that her heart and mind can live with. That is the gist of the story. But this author writes with literary skill. I was so invested in the story from beginning to end. I love the characters. I love the prose. I think this is worth a read, worth your time. I give this 5 stars. Novel number 2, Salvation by C. William Langsfeld. The setting here is in Colorado, somewhere in the Rocky Mountains. The underlining themes seem to be father-son relationships. The story is told in the voice of 3 main characters. There's Tom. He's a murderer. He's on the run. There's Pastor Green, and he struggles with being a pastor. And then there's Marshall Tomlin, who is a very tired cop. He has been marshaling this small town where everyone knows everyone for many years. Some of the material here is sensitive. It is about father-son abuse, which is difficult to read because honestly, it's so hard to make sense of a father breaking the spirit of his own son. So the story is about a murder. Tom murders his old friend, Rust, and Rust leaves behind a son, Gus, who's about 10 years old or so, and Tom has always loved Gus. The pastor offers to foster parent Gus for a while, and this turns out to be really healthy for the pastor. He bonds with this young boy, he enjoys parenting, and it really does change his outlook on life. And the marshal, well, it's his job to hunt down Tom for murdering Rust. So those are the characters, and that's how they relate to each other. The author has a very unique writing style in that he uses a lot of fragments in his sentence structures. And actually, this adds a lot of intensity to the story. As a reader, I felt the characters' inner conflicts, inner struggles. I understood Tom's despair and his dire isolation. The scenes created a lot of that emotion. My empathy ran deep, even when Tom was hungry, was starving. And through the marshal's voice, it kind of brings the flavor of the culture in the small town very vividly. And the character development of the pastor reveals through his own human struggles the natural humanity of people in general. It may seem unlikely with these three characters, but I believe everyone could relate to them in some unique way. That can only happen when you have the gift of writing creative prose. I love this story. I think you will too. I give this 5 stars. Novel number 3, One and Only by Maurene Goo. This is a rom-com, and the author is Korean, and our main characters in the novel are as well. So we get to read a little bit about the Korean culture, and I like that. The setting is in LA, near Beverly Hills, and the main character is Cassia Parks. She's a single gal about to turn 40. Okay. She has a family legacy business where she is the director of operations, and it's a matchmaking business. But what is unique about this business is that they use what is called physiognomy, which means Cassia is able to read faces. She's able to read facial movements, facial features, etc. So the ritual begins with Cassia studying the facial features of her customer. And she goes into this kind of trance. And while she's in this trance, there's this jaded cup that begins to warm up. So then Cassia, in this trance, is able to see the past life of her customer. And then she searches for this red thread. And that red thread is what connects the person with her fated partner in the past life and also in the current life. So there is an Aunt Harmony that is a family member that works in the business with them, and it is her job to hold this piece of paper over the jaded cup. Soon a text is to appear, and it's stitched in red thread, and that is the name of the fated partner. And then there are other family members, and it is their job to go, hunt for that fated person via social media, etc. So the family business has been in operation for about 100 years. I mean, it's very old, and the family members are fun. They're very traditional, and they are currently under an 88-year-old matriarch named Sunny. So family influences are very prominent, very heavy for Cassia. By the way, Cassia knows the name of her fated partner. She has been searching for him for, a lot of her adult life. Then Cassia has a bike accident, and she meets Alice. Alice is her rescuer. He's a Gen Z and about 11 years her junior. This kind of throws a wrench in this whole ancient ritual thing because Cassia kind of falls for him. Then Alice introduces Cassia to his boss, Daniel, and that's when things get really complicated because Daniel is the guy she's been searching for. He's her fated partner. So the big question is this fated partner a guarantee? You'll have to read the novel, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. I enjoyed the character development here. I appreciated the way the author built up their strengths and exposed their human flaws. It made the story interesting and compelling. The story has a satisfying ending as well. It's a page turner. I give this 4 stars. My nonfiction book, The Butter Book by Anna Stockwell. I have been making my own butter lately, so this book caught my eye, and I love the jacket. It's really appropriate. This book gives you all kinds of tips. It tells you how to make butter, how to make compound butter, that's just extra ingredients in the butter, gives you tips on how to buy butter, butter accessories, tools. I actually have one of those. It's a bell butter holder. See, it keeps it, you put water in there, you put your butter here, it keeps the butter cool. And I don't have any butter right now because it's fermenting, but that's a great tool. And I just enjoyed this book. It gives great recipes at the end. I'm anxious to try the chocolate chip cookie recipe with certain butters. I think if you're interested at all in making butter or purchasing butter, this book is for you. I enjoyed it. It'll be on my shelf. I give it 5 stars.